Full-time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this person is coaching full-time. This is
That's
like their main earner, right? They're a professional coach at this point, right? Like this is what they're doing all in. This is their craft, right? Coaching is their craft. And when a coach goes from part-time to full-time, just the way that they look at coaching is completely different. Just completely different because it's no longer a side hustle to that coach.
Yep.
It's no longer something that if it goes away, oh, it's okay. I have this other thing, right? Like shit gets real here when a coach goes full time into coaching, and that shows in the way that they view, or the way that their value is perceived. To your previous point, like this coach usually isn't charging $50 a month for program design and individual coaching, because they understand the dollars and cents, and they're like, I have to actually make a living doing this thing. So that self-perceived value should immediately go up when the realization of, hey, this is the only way that I'm making money. That self-perceived value should go up at this point. This person is working under another entity, right? Because they don't own their own business quite yet. So we'll get to the next point, or we'll get to the next point in the next stage. But here we're saying that you're coaching full time under someone else. So you're not like spinning up your own LLC and creating a remote coaching business, right? You're an owner at that point. So right now you're working for someone else. So there's not that massive pressure, although it's there still. There's not that massive pressure to go out and like feed yourself and find all of your own clients. But no matter what stage you're in, you're always going to have to have that entrepreneur, right? That entrepreneur side to you. So you're although you're not owning your own thing, you're not off doing this on your own. You're probably thinking, weighing the positives and negatives of doing this by yourself, right? Because if you're working for someone, you're giving a percentage of your income to that person. There's like a value exchange, right? It's like, I don't want to handle this. It's like, I want this other person to do this or this other entity to do it. So this person has a decision to make. Do I want to be an owner or not?
I think you see some interesting conflict arise at this stage because it is where someone is making that decision. Do I want to do my own thing, potentially make more money, but then potentially have higher risk? Or do I want to keep working under this person? And there's a lot of personalities in fitness as
Yeah.
well. And so I have seen and heard so many stories of coaches who are in that full-time role under someone else's business have a falling out with the business owner because the business owner isn't in line with their vision and what they really want to achieve in fitness. So some people can stay in that role and have a great happy relationship as the coach under an owner for forever. It can be great, but you can also run into the situation where you both have competing ideas around what fitness means and what you both want to provide to clients. And so that's just an interesting challenge to navigate at
Yeah.
that point. Like you do have to make that decision because as a full-time coach, you want to make sure you're doing something you believe in. Like it's no longer just this thing on the side. You're in it 100%. You've got to be able to stand behind what you're offering. So you have to be working with people that you can do that with.
Yeah, and I think that's why I brought up like you always have that decision to make when you're in this stage, and I would say that we have to expect all coaches to have that falling out, even if it's not like a, I hate you, I hate what you're doing. Like we're all going to come to a point where we're like, yeah, I just don't want to work for this entity anymore. Like, and that's not good or bad or anything like that. It's just reality. So I can't think of one coach that has died, that spent 25 years and just like died working for this company, coaching people. I think we can get into the weeds with like, different models and stuff like that. But I'm talking like, hey, you have a book of clients that you're working with. When you're working with those clients, that business has nothing to do with it, right? Like that business isn't coming in and like doing your consultations for you. That business isn't coming in and, designing behavior programs for you. They're not doing any of that, right? It's all you and your clients. You're going to come to a point where you're just like, yeah, I'm going to go with this other company, or I'm just going to go off and do this on my own. It's just, I think it's a huge rarity for that alignment to be there forever.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I do think that the manager persona is fairly important at this stage. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but like
Yeah.
going from part-time where you can get away with some suboptimal practices around your own like habits. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes you're working multiple jobs, so you have to be really dialed in. But if not, if coaching was just this casual thing that you didn't have great systems in place around as a
Mm-hmm.
part-time coach, as a full-time coach, trying to continue to grow a book of clients, you can't get away with that.
Yeah. Here, I actually put all three personas have to be apparent, like
Yeah.
very apparent, based on who you are, right? Because you could be a full-time coach working for an entity and you're completely fine. You're like, I never want to work for someone else, right? There still has to be the artistry because you're working with clients. There still has to be the manager, to your point. You now have a full book of clients. So let's say that you're coaching 50 individuals. It's like, you better understand how to manage your time. You better understand how to manage your client load, so on and so forth. And then the entrepreneur piece still shines even if you have no intention on going and working on your own or for another, or you're just good staying right there because you're bringing in clients. Like, you're your own business. To like, you could be an employee or a contractor. You're your own business because you're the one that's working with those clients. That business isn't working with those clients. So all three, I believe, here are this is the phase where all three have to be extremely apparent and have to be there based on where you want to go.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yep.
What do you think cash potential is here?
40K to 250K.
Yeah.
Huge,
Yep.
huge window there. And the reason why it's so big is it's all based on how much you're charging and how many clients can you actually coach.
Yeah.
You know, we know coaches that coach 20 and that's their ceiling, right? That's their ceiling. They're like, I can't handle any more than 20. What's the conversation with those coaches? It's like, you better increase your value, right? You have to charge a lot more than if you were obviously coaching 40, right? If you want to make that dollar amount. And then we know coaches that have great value and they still coach 100 people, right? So it's easy math, right? Like, we can step back and say, okay, the business is probably taking anywhere from 40 to 60% of that coach's overall income. The coach is receiving the rest. Multiply that by the amount of clients they're coaching per month times 12, and then we get their annual income.
It's a question I get from like probably 50% of people coming into CCP is, how many people can I coach? Like, they want the magic number, and there is no magic number. There is a magic number. It's figuring out what you want to make to cover your expenses and be able to live the life you want to live, and figuring out what the price point and number of clients is to get you there. But like you said, for some people that's 20 and some people that's 100 clients.
Yeah.
And you do have some wiggle room with price per month, but you can't think that you can charge $800 for clients, coach 20 people if you're a new coach.
Yep.
In a crappy facility.
Yeah. And
So,
I think
there's
what
reality
I would say to those coaches or prospective coaches is like, gosh, that's such a tough one that you'll eventually have to answer when you start to work with people. Because when you get to 5, you might think, oh my gosh, I can do this with 50 tomorrow if I had to. Or you can get to 5 and you're like, I have no idea how I'm going to get to 6. Like, I can't manage my time. I'm really slow. I don't get it. So I think that is so coach by coach.
Definitely.